Hey everyone! Welcome back to another deep dive into the stories that define our pop culture landscape. Today, we're talking about something that's been sending shockwaves through celebrity circles and making headlines around the world. We're looking at what happened to the Beckham family, Britain's most polished, most perfect celebrity dynasty, and how their carefully crafted image came crashing down in the most public way possible. Before we get into this incredible story, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been following along with these deep dives. Your support means the world, and it's stories like these that really show us how even the most seemingly perfect families can hide the most complex dramas behind closed doors. So, let's set the scene. For over 2 decades, David and Victoria Beckham have been the ultimate power couple. From the moment Posh Spice met the Manchester United Golden Boy in 1999, they became Britain's answer to royalty. Their brand was perfection. 4 beautiful children, a global empire worth hundreds of millions, and a marriage that survived everything from affairs scandals to international relocations. But in January 2026, their oldest son Brooklyn did something that nobody saw coming. In a series of explosive Instagram posts, he didn't just air the family's dirty laundry, he absolutely destroyed the myth of Beckham family perfection. And what he revealed was so shocking, so personal, and so devastating that it's still making headlines today. To understand how we got here, we need to go back to where it all started going wrong. The problems began in 2022, when Brooklyn Beckham married American actress Nicola Peltz. On paper, it should have been perfect. 2 wealthy, beautiful young people from powerful families. But from the very beginning, there were signs that something wasn't right. The first red flag was the wedding dress. Fashion insiders and fans immediately noticed that Nicola didn't wear a Victoria Beckham design. This might seem trivial, but when your mother-in-law is one of the world's most famous fashion designers, choosing someone else is a statement. Reports later suggested that Victoria had been expecting to design the dress, but Nicola went with Valentino instead. The snub was noticed by everyone in fashion circles, but that was just the beginning. What Brooklyn would later reveal about his own wedding would shock everyone who thought they understood this family. According to Brooklyn's bombshell Instagram post, Victoria hijacked his first dance with Nicola. During what should have been the most intimate moment of their wedding reception, Victoria apparently took to the microphone and announced, "Please welcome to the stage the most beautiful woman in the room, Victoria Beckham." Then she proceeded to dance with Brooklyn in what he described as an extremely uncomfortable and inappropriate way. Brooklyn wrote that he had never felt more uncomfortable or humiliated in his entire life. He described watching his new wife, Nicola, leave the reception in tears because her special moment had been stolen. The image of a bride crying on her wedding day while her new mother-in-law takes over the dance floor is heartbreaking. But it also reveals something much darker about the family dynamics. But the wedding incident was apparently just one example of what Brooklyn describes as years of controlling behavior and attempts to destroy his marriage. In his Instagram posts, he accused his parents of trying to ruin his relationship with Nicola from before they were even married. He claimed they had been trying endlessly to ruin my relationship since before my wedding. The control, according to Brooklyn, extended far beyond just his personal relationships. He alleged that his parents tried to pressure him into signing away the rights to his own name, essentially giving the family business control over his identity and future earning potential. When he refused, the relationship apparently deteriorated even further. What makes this story particularly tragic is how it played out over several years in full view of the public, but nobody really understood what was happening. Looking back, the signs were everywhere, but they were always explained away or covered up by carefully managed PR. The first public hint that something was wrong came in 2024, during Victoria's 50th birthday party. It was a star-studded affair with celebrities like Tom Cruise and all the Spice Girls in attendance, but Nicola was conspicuously absent. At the time, she explained on social media that she was spending time with her grandmother, who was dying. It seemed like a reasonable explanation, but now it looks like it might have been an excuse to avoid a family event. The pattern continued with David's 50th birthday in May 2025. Again, Brooklyn and Nicola were absent from the celebrations. Reports suggested they had flown to England specifically hoping to celebrate with David, but something went wrong. Sources claimed Brooklyn put the kibosh on attending the party himself, reportedly because he didn't want to see his brother Romeo's girlfriend at the time. But now that explanation seems questionable. Then came the really obvious signs that something was seriously wrong. In August 2025, Brooklyn and Nicola renewed their wedding vows. This might seem romantic, but renewing vows after just 3 years of marriage is unusual. What was even more telling was who wasn't there. Not a single member of the Beckham family attended the ceremony. Not David, not Victoria, not Brooklyn's siblings. For a family that had always presented a united front, this was a massive red flag. The situation reached a breaking point during what should have been one of the family's proudest moments. In November 2025, David received a knighthood from King Charles, becoming Sir David Beckham. It was the culmination of a lifetime of achievement and service. But Brooklyn and Nicola didn't attend the ceremony, didn't post about it on social media, and completely ignored one of the biggest moments in his father's life. Around the same time, David's football team Inter Miami won the MLS Cup. Again, Brooklyn and Nicola were nowhere to be seen while the rest of the family celebrated this massive achievement. The pattern was becoming undeniable. Brooklyn had effectively cut himself off from his family's biggest moments. The social media drama that followed was like watching a family fight play out in real time. In December 2025, fans noticed that David and Victoria were no longer following Brooklyn and Nicola on Instagram. The internet went crazy with speculation about blocks and unfollows. Brooklyn's younger brother Cruz tried to do damage control, posting that their parents would never unfollow their son and claiming they had woke up blocked. But Cruz's intervention actually made things worse because it confirmed that Brooklyn had blocked his own parents and siblings on social media. The golden boy of the Beckham family had essentially declared war on his own family in the most public way possible. Then came the Christmas that broke everything. While David, Victoria, and their 3 younger children celebrated together, Brooklyn and Nicola spent the holidays in Florida with her family. David's Instagram post reviewing the year included photos with all his children. Except there wasn't a single image of Brooklyn or Nicola. The message was clear. As far as the family was concerned, Brooklyn had chosen his side. The situation might have continued as a Cold War played out through social media and absent family members, but Brooklyn decided he was done staying silent. In January 2026, he posted a series of Instagram stories that absolutely exploded across the internet. Brooklyn didn't just air grievances, he launched a full-scale assault on his parents' reputation and the entire Beckham brand. He accused them of being controlling and inauthentic. He claimed they had placed countless lies in the media to maintain their perfect family image, while prioritizing brand Beckham over their actual relationships with their children. But the most devastating accusation was about control and manipulation. Brooklyn claimed his parents had been trying to control narratives in the press about their family for years. He suggested that the perfect Beckham family image that the public had been fed was essentially a lie, maintained through careful media manipulation and PR spin. The wedding dance incident wasn't just embarrassing. According to Brooklyn, it was emblematic of how his mother operates. He painted a picture of someone so focused on being the center of attention that she would hijack her own son's wedding to make it about herself. Brooklyn also addressed the name rights issue, confirming that his parents had tried to get him to sign away his own identity to the family business. The fact that he refused suggests he was trying to maintain some independence from the family machine, but it also created a fundamental conflict about his future. Perhaps most heartbreaking was Brooklyn's statement that he did not want to reconcile with his family. This wasn't just a temporary fight or a misunderstanding. This was a son publicly divorcing himself from his parents and declaring that he was done with the relationship entirely. David Beckham's response has been notably restrained, which is either very classy or very calculated. During a CNBC interview, he spoke generally about social media and letting children make mistakes so they can learn. Many interpreted this as a veiled reference to Brooklyn's posts, but David never directly addressed any of the specific allegations. This restraint is interesting because it's so different from how celebrity family feuds usually play out. There are no dueling Instagram posts, no leaked stories to tabloids, no PR campaigns. David and Victoria are handling this like the PR professionals they've become, which actually makes Brooklyn's accusations about media manipulation seem more credible. The broader implications of this feud go far beyond just family drama. The Beckham brand is worth hundreds of millions of dollars and employs dozens of people. Their carefully cultivated image as a perfect family has been central to their success for over 2 decades. Brooklyn's revelations don't just damage his parents, they potentially undermine the foundation of a massive business empire. Brand Beckham has always been built on authenticity, or at least the appearance of authenticity. David's journey from working-class boy to global superstar, Victoria's transformation from Spice Girl to fashion mogul, their marriage surviving scandals and pressures. It all created a narrative about real people achieving incredible success while staying true to their values. But Brooklyn's accusations paint a very different picture. Instead of authentic people sharing their real lives, he's describing professional brand managers who manipulate media narratives and prioritize business interests over genuine family relationships. If that's true, it changes how we understand everything about the Beckham phenomenon. What makes this particularly fascinating is the generational aspect. David and Victoria built their careers in an era when celebrity privacy was more respected and media control was more possible. They learned to manage their image through traditional PR channels and controlled access. Brooklyn, on the other hand, grew up in the social media age where authenticity is valued above perfection, and where direct communication with fans bypasses traditional media entirely. His decision to tell his story through Instagram stories rather than traditional media shows a fundamentally different approach to celebrity. The timing of Brooklyn's revelations is also significant. This came after years of escalating tensions, but it happened when David was at the peak of his establishment acceptance. Getting a knighthood represented the ultimate validation of his place in British society, but instead of being able to enjoy that triumph, the family is dealing with the most public crisis in their history. There's also the question of what this means for the other Beckham children. Romeo, Cruz, and Harper are all old enough to understand what's happening, but they've stayed mostly silent. Cruz's intervention to defend his parents' social media behavior shows they're picking sides, but they're also watching their family implode in public. The role of Nicola Peltz in all this is complex. Brooklyn clearly sees his wife as a victim of his parents' behavior, but there are also suggestions that the conflict might have been exacerbated by clash between two very different family cultures. The Beckhams are British, working-class backgrounds who became global superstars. The Peltzes are American old money with generational wealth. These different approaches to family, business, and privacy might have created inevitable conflicts. What's particularly tragic about this situation is how it reveals the cost of celebrity on family relationships. The Beckham children didn't choose to be famous, but they were born into a family where their personal relationships became public commodities and where family moments were turned into brand opportunities. Brooklyn's wedding should have been a private celebration of his love for Nicola. Instead, it became a case study in how family dysfunction can poison even the most special moments. The fact that he's still talking about his wedding dance years later shows how deeply it affected him. The broader questions raised by this feud go beyond just one family. What happens when a family becomes a brand? How do you separate genuine relationships from business interests when your personal life is your professional product? How do children of celebrities maintain their own identity when they're born into an existing brand narrative? Brooklyn's decision to go public with his grievances might seem destructive, but it might also be the only way he could establish his independence from a family system that he felt was controlling him. By making the conflict public, he's forced everyone to choose sides and made reconciliation much more difficult, but he's also taken control of his own narrative for the first time. The aftermath of Brooklyn's revelations is still unfolding. The family hasn't reunited, there are no signs of reconciliation on the horizon, and the damage to the Beckham brand might be permanent. Brooklyn and Nicola have been spotted in public looking happy and unburdened, suggesting they're at peace with their decision to break away from the family. Meanwhile, David and Victoria are continuing with business as usual, attending events and maintaining their public schedules. But the perfect family image is gone forever, replaced by questions about what really happens behind the scenes of celebrity families. What happened to the Beckhams shows us that even the most successful, most polished celebrity families are still just families dealing with complicated relationships, competing interests, and generational conflicts. The difference is that when your family is also a multi-million-dollar brand, those conflicts become public spectacles that can destroy carefully built empires. Brooklyn's story is ultimately about a young man trying to establish his independence from parents who may have lost sight of where the family ended and the business began. Whether you see him as a brave truth-teller or an ungrateful son probably depends on your own experiences with family and celebrity culture. But one thing is clear, the myth of Beckham family perfection is over. What replaces it remains to be seen, but it's likely to be more complicated, more human, and more honest than the brand-managed version we've been sold for the past 2 decades. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into one of the most shocking celebrity family feuds in recent memory. The Beckham story reminds us that behind every perfect public image, there are real people dealing with real conflicts, and sometimes those conflicts become too big to hide. What do you think about Brooklyn's decision to go public with his family's problems? Was he right to speak out, or should family business stay private? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that dig deeper into the complex realities behind our celebrity-obsessed culture. Until next time, keep questioning the narratives we're told about success, family, and fame.